All right. Today is AK and the 20th day of January. Also, then to understand the year or the time. Where's my marker? We want to discuss on the topic, the secrets of getting everything you want with Ogbanje. We have discussed here and studied and understood beyond question that everything in life is made up of energy. True or false? True. And because everything in life is made up of energy, if we understand how to manipulate energy, we can fashion out the kind of life we want to live. Because when you take energy to be like clay, you can use the clay to mold whatever vessel you want to mold. True or false? And so, it's to have that kind of understanding that is the problem. Man is a bundle of energy. There's nothing like solid in creation. Everything in life is a flux of energy moving at various vibrational frequency. When it is slowed down, when it is sluggish, then we can say that it's solid. But when it's moving at a fast pace, you will call it either semi-solid or liquid, or the final aspect, you call it spirit, that is the unseen. For example, you see the fan revolving. Can you see the blades of the fan? You can't see the blade of the fan because of the speed at which it's revolving. When you slow down the pace of the revolution of the fan, what will happen? You start seeing the blades at a certain level, limits. But when you stop it all together, you will see the blade and you can touch it. But at this pace, when you attempt to touch the blade, what will happen? You cut your hands. And that is how the energy of life is. When it's evolving at a fast rate, at a fast revolution, that's what we call it, at a higher frequency, you cannot see it with your physical eyes. But the important thing is for you to know that it is there and it is real. At that pace, we call it spirits. So when you talk about thoughts, thoughts are things. Thoughts are tangible things that are vibrating at a higher frequency. When such thoughts are coagulated and condensed or coalesced, when they are slowed down, it manifests as physical matter. At least the scientists in our midst can tell that. True or false? Okay, so now it's by understanding this that we can live through life successfully. This is the secret that our ancestors understood about life. That's why they operated and had life the way they wanted it. You can get life to yield to you whatever you want when you understand the principle of energy. That energy can neither be created by man nor destroyed. But you can change the form of energy from one form to the other. Am I communicating? Yes. By learning how to tune down the vibration so that it can become what you want in life. I had somebody came from Delta State this morning, earlier today, and he just shared how his father had 15 wives. They were all cooking in one pot. His grandfather, and he had many children, had lots of land. In fact, I was extremely wealthy. But that when the grandfather died, over time, these things were no longer working for them the way it was working when he was alive. And bickering and enmity came into the family. And then I asked him, who among your grandfather's children maintained the altar your father and your grandfather anchored? He said no, that all of them were going to church. I said, good. When you declared war against the altar turned their back on you. Your grandfather understood how to mold energy of life to serve his purpose by establishing an altar and making an agreement, a covenant with that force of nature. And so it gave him his desire, harmony, prosperity, joy, peace. But today, we think that we know better. And many people became enslaved. And so in discussing of today, I want to go specifically about some of the challenges we face today. Many people today are indebted to people. Many people have people owing them. And our major problem is, how do we offset this debt that is disturbing us? Or how do we get the person owing us to pay? And if you can find this solution, I think life will be easier. True of us. Or somebody will make certain promise to you and will not be able to fulfill it. Anybody to promise you anything and fail to fulfill it, there is always a reason behind it. Now, there is somebody you will promise to do something for, and the moment you made that promise, you discover that you are now having challenges to get that money or whatever you have promised the person to fulfill it becomes a problem. When you discover that, what will you do? If you discover that what you want to give somebody, you are having difficulty in fulfilling it, what will you do? You will run, no? Like to borrow Ben Johnson. Because when you force yourself to give the person that thing, you will experience the kind of hardship you've never experienced. Because there are spiritual forces that are not happy with that person, and so they make it difficult for the person to have helpers. Especially ndị Ogbanje, Diowa, Munyowa, Hayegegu. But yes, you got questions. And Agu. Yeah.
When it's a debt you're owing the person and you promise the person at so time and now having difficulties to pay.
Yes.
You don't have to run now.
Yes. That's why we're trying to teach you the skill. That whoever you're owing, there's a skill with which you will pay off the person with ease and with the person's help. Now, we are all here on this earth to learn. There are double polarities of existence upon this earth. You have the positive and the negative. Now, in this dual polarity, there's a middle part called the neutral. We come to this earth either because we come to this earth to pay a debt or to collect debts. And this is what determines our negative relationship. Now, when two people can find themselves in that same relationship, while it is positive for you, it may be negative for the other party. Now, the reason is this. When you have come to collect a debt, to you, it becomes positive. But to the other party whom you are collecting that debt from, it is to have a win-win situation, which is the neutral part. Now you realize here, when somebody is a lion in a lifetime, when you are harsh, when you are a warrior, you take over people's property, you deal with them. When you come again in the next incarnation, automatically you will become very sober and gentle. And that is when you start crying. That's naka get the kwacha. Then when you but that everything, he will cheat you. People will hurt you. They will do this. And you're praying to God. Why you? That you are innocent. Now, what actually happened is that as soon as we pass on, the review of our life activities is given to us. And we realize that we have failed to meet these targets. And so we choose that, okay, since I live negatively on this earth, I will come to compensate. And so the person will push to the extreme again. He will come now, he will become so gentle to give opportunity to the person he has hurt in the past to play the other role of retaliating. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yes.
And so you find out that the game of life is all about paying debts and collecting debts. And so that makes life to keep going. A vicious cycle repeating itself. The moment you learn to walk the middle path, to be neither for nor against, you begin to wind up your earthly incarnation and you move to a higher plane where you no longer need the test of this plane. And so, for our ancestors, they understood that because we are here to pay debts and to collect debts, that there are certain forces that are in charge of this agreement. Because it's all about covenant, your relationship with people. There are sometimes you see someone you've never met before, and you find that you have an affinity, a likeness for the person. How many people have experienced it here? You have instant recognition. Now the reason is that you have existed together in a past incarnation where you related harmoniously, and so that filial connection comes up as soon as you see the person. While there's somebody you see for no just cause you dislike the person. Have you experienced that?
Yes.
Now it's because you've had negative relationship with such person, and so you never want to relate. There are some you discover that they were your children in a past life. There are some you discover that they were your parents in a past life. I had one shocking experience sometime in 2006 or thereabouts. We traveled to Cote d'Ivoire for a conference, a spiritual conference, in one of the organizations I was. Now we were about 4 men from Nigeria who came together. While we were there, as soon as we came into the hall, we noticed a couple, white couple. They were discussing, and the white woman looked and saw us. She called her husband, saying, "Honey, come. See my husband in past incarnation." He rushed one of the guys there, hugged him and kissed him, and I was looking at this man, no, kill this man. But you see, because of their higher understanding, the man understood the wife, because the wife was psychic. So she was, as soon as she saw the young man, she connected that this was my husband in a past incarnation. And she was so happy to meet with him. At a conference, they were always there together talking, and she was trying to reconnect him to past incarnations where they had lived and what have you. Now, that was somebody who was quite open and connected to her past. But many of us, sometimes these things happen to us unconsciously. When I met the spiritual master who handed over the mantle, immediately I met him. The first thing he said, I said, "Welcome back. Now I am happy." I didn't know why he said, "Now I'm happy." Told me I should go and continue the work. After 2 years, he passed on. It was when he passed on, he came to me, said that was when he handed over the mantle. When he said, "Now that I'm happy," he handed over. But I wasn't aware of them. So sometimes we don't understand what brings us together. Sometimes we allow what will people say and will not have the continue. But the important thing for us to know is that because of the covenant of existence, which we know as what? Ogbanje. What's the full meaning of Ogbanje? Ogbanje Jemowa. The covenant of our life, the agreements of life existence. Nothing in life ever happens by chance. We don't meet by accident. Wherever we meet, there is a purpose for which we have met, either for good or for ill. For man, you may term it ill, but for the soul does not know anything ill. For the soul, it's an opportunity to offset its debt. I saw one message this morning on social media where something happened yesterday. A trailer was carrying container, and the container fell off. It crushed two keke and the passengers. Now, there was a particular woman that tried to jump out of the keke. As she was trying to run, this still caught her, but from the waist down, and she died on the spot like others. Now, when I saw this, I was disturbed, and I went into meditation to find out what really happened. I saw that the woman was happy. Am I communicating? The woman was happy that she has paid off a particular debt. That debt was an opportunity for her to clear her debts. Yet people were there, her relatives were crying. Do you see the irony? Soul does not know what is pain. All it's after is clear these debts and be free. And so, what we have, but when you are awakened, when you are aware, why we're teaching you this is that you don't have to pay your debts that way. You can consciously clear the debts without having to give your life for it. That's why this knowledge sets you apart from others. That's what it means. Though you are in the world, you are not of the world, because you have a different understanding of the game of life playing out. Hello? When you understand it, because before anything happens to you, it must come to you in the dream. Soul must be shown the information, and the soul will accept, fine, let me take care of it. And so, if you don't understand the dream and you make no effort to question, to consult the oracle to find out how you can clear this, eventually you will face that and clear it off the harsh way, according to human viewpoint. The spiritual viewpoint, payment is payment, any which way in a way. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes, sir.
So what I'm saying here is that we must be able to understand that the forces of Ogbanje are always there to help us to rise above certain karmic debt that may need to take our life. But we must understand that our purpose here is to clear off those debts that are tying us down so that we can walk the middle path. Now, when it comes to paying physical debts or collecting physical debts, this other topic, the line of where I will take time to teach about the polarities and for us to understand. But you see, many times we find ourselves indebted. Maybe by a business, the business collapses and we are owing people. And we start blaming everything and everybody. But the question is, have you taken time to find out your relationship with those people you're owing debts? When you consult the oracle to find out, why am I owing this person? Why am I owing this person? You discover that it is a reflection of a spiritual debt. Am I talking to somebody? Now, this is a reflection of a spiritual depth that is playing out physically. And so, for you to clear such debts, if you do not resort to the spiritual energies to clear the debt, you may end up paying the debt, but still, you find yourself getting tied up in another form of debt elsewhere. Because if that spiritual energy is not reprogrammed, it will keep playing out. Ọ dị ka onye isi na-awa, ikpere ekpere ka isi ọwụwa kwụsị ya, fine. Ma ọ ṅụọ ọgwụ isi ọwụwa kwụsị ya, after 2 days, afọ arụwe. That obupuna, that energy, the energy remains there. Because you have not made effort to track down the root cause of the problem. And so, what I'm saying here is that what we do is to go to the forces of Ogbanje. They are the one in charge. The lords of karma. Another word for them, lords of karma. Now, the karmic board or the lords of karma, which we call n'ala Igbo Ogbanje, ndị Ogbanje, are the forces of covenants or agreement that bring about you paying off the debt you're owing or collecting the debt somebody is owing you. When you approach the force of karma, how do you do? Normally, a na-ewedu batara gị among the things a na-edubata gị, even a na-edubata ndị Ogbanje gị, ọ akpọ ya ndị iyi ụwa. Gịnị wee iyi? Iyi means oath. When you talk about iyi ụwa, oath of life. Iyi ụwa means oath of life. And what is oath? Another word for oath. Covenant. Another word for oath is covenant. Agreement. True or false? True. And the Igbo name for that is Ogbanje. So Iyuwa means Ogbanje Njemowa, which is Ogbanje. So I think another borogi Iyuwa or none edubate Iyuwa. Many people now look at what the problem people name. Ije dibia na amara this knowledge. Ana borogi Iyuwa. Eje borogi Iyuwa. Iti there. What do you do with it? How do you run your life with that? Or will you just they were dozili here, or will just dozili here? Many people they do but I'm more away hand with it. Hamaka say DOZ, Hamaka say Gia to offset their debts and to clear their way. Now this then it becomes an ornament to beautify yourself. If we see it does good car, edubata ndemiri gini we eme ke hiji eme. Edubata ndi Ogbanje gini meze ke hiji eme. And the word did the eje akọwalụ nwere gị ya. Ka onye je go na akọwalị ya. Hello? That's why when we say that this is a university of life, it is where you get that level of information you cannot access in any other place. But the most important thing is to put it to work. Am I communicating? Yes. So, for where somebody is owing you, or rather, let me start. You need something in life. Oh, well, hey, choro. You want to buy a parcel of land. You want to rent a house. You want to rent a shop. You want to travel abroad. Whatever it is you want. And of course, you need connection to get what you want. You know who, is it not? Yes. Now, what you do is, Ijena ndi Ogbanje gi, do but Ijena okuko Ogbanje gi. wee ya Ogbanje. Ebe a ka ị eje wee ịgbagodo afa iwela nnekwu na-ebu okwu ọkụkọ nnekwu ọkụkọ ka eji eje wute ọjị na ndị Ogbanje ekponye ha. They are the network of destiny helpers. It's another word you use to describe them. The network of destiny helpers. Now within here, by the time you activate it, see how that na nature, your needs, that you need to be connected to the person who will do this, or to the individual that will help to bring about the fulfillment of this purpose. Easy Puhosi. Now the method I often use, which I advise, is that that Ogbanje, or what we do for people, no onye chọrọ maybe connection, or onye chọrọ request, ebute candle, ime candle. While you write down what you want. Now when you request, zie hozia, abafa mahana batakwale. Is it in your life contract? What will it bring into your life? Okay, then when it's good, you feel it's good for you, but the end point may not be advantageous for you. Chigi will always block it. Am I communicating?
Yes.
When they want to carry out all good needs, all the evidence of what you need, why you need there, that's why when you now request them the pay feature, I connect to the person, that contact that will give you this connection, that will take you to this that arena or that experience you want. Is this here? Actually, in other words, to settle to settle the negative forces that may hinder it. Because remember that life operates in duality, positive and negative. So what do you do? The moment you may settle that request email, you burn it. By burning it, you have released it into the ethers for the forces of Ogbanje to use it to work. And over time, it is assured never your ability. Obido connect well like draft. Am I communicating?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, in the case of where you're owing somebody and you want to pay the person, the first thing you need to do is to consult the oracle. What karmic relationship brought us together for me to owe this person? It is by understanding that karmic relationship that you learn how to heal spiritually first. Now, edu batachi onye ahụ nekwa, that's why cowrie come into play. Nekwa ife iji akwụ ya ụgwọ. Mana nke ị na-akwụ ya ụgwọ na mmụọ na ịnidiri enyemaka ya ka ị kwụọ ya na mmadụ. Ịgwakwana the reason why paying him off is the best for him. That na ịkwụọ ya ụgwọ na ọ ya solve problem ya na ụgwọ ya release ya maka na o ji dike na ji onwe ya na ka onye a ji gị na o jikwa onwe ya na ijide ya na ijikwa onwe gị. Therefore, it is the interest of both parties that onye ọna will be free. Na iji ya na-release ya so that he can become higher, he can become wealthier. You know, you create all the logic. Ogu niile ị ga-eji well convince the soul to accept, to help you. Inye ya si ya ka ị na-akwụ ya ụgwọ na mmụọ ka o wepụtara gị ya na mmadụ ka ị wee kwụọ ya ụgwọ ahụ. By the time you remember that ndị Ogbanje will always be there, because all ihe ọgbụgba ndụ ka ị na-eme, you're trying to resolve a debt. By the time that agreement has been enacted, you find out that within a short time, the means to pay the person off will come to you without struggle. Most times people owe you or make promise to you. You only be worrying them physically, but that's a wrong move. Because will he ever pay you? What you do, again, akpọkuo ndị Ogbanje, edubatachi onye ahụ. I werekwa ego mmụọ, isi ya na ị na-enye ya ego a. Ka ego ya ka ọfụ ego ya eji wee kwụ gị, ka ị na-enye ya na mmụọ ka ọ manifestera physically. And ka ọ na-manifestera physically, that the first person you will ever think about that no, is you, and no that you can never have rest until ọkwụọ gị na ego a ka ihe a ka ị na-enye ya now. Imichọrọ ka ị release ya maka na o jidike na ji onwe ya na iji na-release ya so that you can also free yourself in the process. Once this simple ritual is performed with that spiritual money in your golia, they within 21 days and you are pulling the money. Also, I will not check for receipts. Also, he will have some money will come to him and not organize how to pay that money. Am I communicating? Yes. Now, when you understand this, you can have whatever you want and you can resolve whatever financial debt that is facing you or financial challenge. This is a principle you can apply this year to make your life easier, to help those who are owing you to pay you, and to also be able to pay off those ones you are owing. It's a principle that can make things simpler and softer. Am I talking to somebody? Yes. And my question there. Then in a man here. So, what we have just said that these are the simple methods with which you can resolve life challenges when it comes to, it's not only on financial matters, that in other areas, everything revolves around life agreements, revolve around the covenant of existence, where all the forces around you are connected to your past, because whatever you experience today is a result of your past life connection. When you understand this and how to work with it to resolve things, life will be easier and you avoid many problems that come in life. Okay.